Hi, friends. I'm Jason, your marketing professor, and welcome to another edition of the 60 Days to Hired Network Live Open Forum. Look, every Friday we have the opportunity to get together and talk about items that are important to you as you are searching for a new job and how you can market yourself like a big brand so that come hiring time, brands, companies, big businesses, they're fighting for you instead of you banging on the door asking to be let in. So, what we're going to go over tonight is the basic framework in my new book, 60 Days to Hired, which comes out on Monday, June 22nd, just a couple of days away. And if you're joining this live session live in school right now, do me a favor and send an invite to a friend of yours. It doesn't have to be right now, but sometime tonight. Somebody who's just finished their work week and they are just rolling their eyes and they just can't seem to find the work that they find meaningful. Maybe they're working endless hours. Maybe they're working for an unsupportive boss. Maybe they've got bigger dreams and they feel like they're stuck in this role. We can help get them out of there. So send the link to the free School 60 Days to Hired community. The other thing, if you're a recent graduate, this is a great opportunity for you to make some friends and go through the job search project with friends. So if you've got friends who've recently graduated or there's a student in your life, whether it's high school, college, trade school, send them the link as well. The community is free, and this is how we get better. If you're joining me on YouTube, do me a favor. Please like, please subscribe, and also share the link below the video with a friend. It's a great opportunity to help somebody find meaningful work. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk a bit more about the framework that I've put into 60 Days to Hired. A couple of things. The book is designed to be short. I wanted somebody to be able to get on an airplane, fly anywhere in the country, let's just call it 2.5 hours, be able to read the book, and then go to their hotel room and say, hey, I need to make a career change. I need to start working on it tonight. And they're able to do that. Likewise, if you are a road warrior, or maybe you just spend a lot of time at home doom scrolling in the evening, looking at jobs, I want you to be able to read this book in an evening, like I said, 2.5 hours, so that you can take immediate action. This is not a book that you're going to be stuck glued to for weeks on end. I promise you that. So we're going to go through a couple of things in this book. And one of the big things that you're going to start with is, well, getting a little irritated, figuring out when you have just been worked to the point where going to work doesn't motivate or inspire you anymore. It's a good thing to keep going just to keep the lights on, and that totally makes sense. But what happens when you're at that point, when you walk outside every morning to your car, to your public transportation, and you're already dreaming for the weekend on a Monday? That's a problem. So I want to encourage you to be okay. Be okay being upset. I want you to realize that you're meant for more, and we'll walk through this journey of self-discovery in 60 Days to Hired. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel underpaid. It's okay to feel taken advantage of. Okay? That doesn't mean that all employers are bad employers. What it really means is that your goals and their goals are not in alignment. I've worked for some great people in my life, and the job wasn't the right fit because it was zigging and I was zagging. That's okay. I've also had some amazing jobs with some terrible leaders, and I've left because I didn't like interacting with those people. That's okay too. Remember, no matter how you're feeling, it's not your fault. And we'll go through this in more detail and how to identify these little challenges you may be having. And when you get handed some lemonade or lemons, how to make some lemonade. The next thing we're going to talk about in the book is your social presence. And we've talked about that here on the 60 Days to Hired Network. Whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, insert platform here, it's important when you are on the job hunt to have a professional appearance. Now, I'm not saying don't include pictures of you and the kids or you on the fishing trip, but you doing something that could be a little questionable, maybe questionable behavior. Maybe you were younger and you were doing something that may not have been quite legal. Something that's going to make an employer scratch their head, because believe me, they do look at you. As a hiring manager myself, I do go to people's LinkedIn accounts, their Facebook pages, just to see what kind of person I'm getting. And if you have some photo on there that you think is a little bit questionable, pull it off. If you think this much, that means somebody else probably thinks it this much. and it's probably best to just pull it off. That's okay. Now, that doesn't mean all your posts have to be, oh, how much I love work, or here's how I develop skills, here's how I save money. No, I think it's important that you're a human being. I post things from maybe meetings I may have had, something I've learned, or a book that I've read, or music that I listen to, and that's okay. What I'm not doing is posting pictures of me tying one on when I was in college X number of years ago, because when I was X number of years ago, people don't look at that. They go, oh, Jason's got a wild side. I'm not sure he's the person I want running my organization. Point is across all your social profiles, you should have some form of consistency, and that consistency doesn't need to be too much to the right, too much to the left. It needs to be in the middle. That's where hiring managers are. Cold, hard reality. Cold, hard reality. Okay. Now, another item we're going to use is artificial intelligence. Now, this is the buzz now. Every time you open up a news story or you watch something online, somebody's talking about artificial intelligence. We are going to use AI as your writing buddy, as I call it. Consider artificial intelligence your partner, as well as me, to help you find the career you're looking for. We're going to use artificial intelligence to help you craft cover letters. Some employers put cover letters as part of their job description for a couple of reasons. Number one, it gives them an idea of what you're looking for and why you're passionate about working for a particular business. That's the most obvious. But the other piece is it creates friction. And what I mean by friction is this is an extra step that job seekers have to go through. If somebody's just sitting there on the couch, doom scrolling, hitting the apply button, apply, they're really not applying for roles with intent. They're just applying, thinking that if I put my name out there more, it's a numbers game. More people have the chances of calling me. And that's not really true in this world. When you go through that friction and you fill out the application manually and you upload a cover letter, you are showing that employer that you give a darn about their role, their company, and how you two can work together. And that automatically, exponentially puts you above the person who's just doom clicking, we'll call it. Also, you can't just lay there in bed and write a cover letter. It's really not professional to do it on the phone. I can't tell you how many I get with lowercase i's and things like that, because I've created friction in the job application process. And I want to make sure I want somebody who wants to work with me, specifically applying to work with me, not just somebody who sees a big blue apply button and they want to click on it. So we're going to use artificial intelligence to connect your specific skills to the specific needs of the role in the company and craft a really tight one-page letter that makes sense. Now, this is not going to be the final letter. You're going to take it, you're going to put it into a word processing document, clean it up, put your address and your contact information on it. You're going to personify it a little bit, but this is going to save you a ton of time. We can take in cover letter time from an hour down to maybe 10 minutes. And I've got prompts in 60 Days to Hire to walk you through this exercise. And it works on whatever AI tool you prefer to use, whether it's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, the list goes on. Okay. So we're going to use AI for your cover letter, and it's going to support you throughout the entire process. The next item we're going to talk about is why somebody should hire you. Your unique selling propositions. We're going to use some self-reflection and even some artificial intelligence to pull those things that make you special out from between the lines that you might not be looking at. One of the challenges we run into is we feel the need to always be selling ourselves. In the case of looking for a job, yes, you are selling yourself. But a lot of the times when somebody says, well, why should I hire you? We panic. And we're going, oh God, I got to think what kind of answers they're looking for. So we say things about, well, I'm a hard worker and I'm determined and I strive to do the best. And I always give 110% and best customer service. Look, those are minimum expectations of any job. When you are hired, you're expected to show up on time. You're expected to give your best, and you're expected to do the absolute best you can for the customers by providing customer service. There's no job out there that says, here's our expectations, but we're really okay if you're average. Okay? If that's the kind of role you're looking for, you should probably go into business for yourself, because then the only person you have to be mad at for lackluster work is yourself. Brutal truth. So we're going to take a good look at what it is that makes you unique. Do you have an ability to find cost savings for a business? Do you speak multiple languages? Maybe you're the type of person who's okay traveling a lot. And maybe that's not something that a lot of people are used to. And the list can just go on. So we're going to take artificial intelligence, take a look at your resume. We're going to take a look at all of your experience. We're going to look at your social profiles, and we're going to say, hey, AI buddy, what about me is unique? What are the 3, 4, or 5 things that only I can shout from the rooftops that nobody else can? And when we figure out what those are, we're going to make those big talking points in our cover letters, in our social channels, and in our resumes. And we're going to go through this through a process in the 60 days to hired so that you can position yourself not as the best choice, but as the only choice a client wants or a business wants when they want you to come work for them. There's a whole lot more in the book. Like I said, I put a lot of information in about 120 pages so that you can get as much as you possibly can in a 2.5 hour flight. We're going to talk about what you do when you're getting that call or that email for an interview, how to act, how to respond, especially if it comes at an inopportune time. We're going to help you go through a journey of self-reflection about finding the things that get you motivated out of bed in the morning. And maybe there's jobs you can apply for that you didn't know existed. We'll also talk about how you can identify what it is you really want and what you're worth, and leveraging your current skills to earn yourself a greater paycheck, not just because they say, hey, our salary range is here, but to put you in a position to say, hey, I think you can do better than that, and here's the reason why. And most importantly, I'm going to help you understand how to say no, how to be picky, and how to value yourself. Just because somebody calls with an offer doesn't mean you need to take it. And just because the company seems like the perfect fit and they're telling you what they're willing to pay you and what all those other benefits are, doesn't mean you need to accept it. Saying no becomes the most powerful word in career negotiation, and you're going to learn how to say it respectfully with authority and to position yourself as a real winner. Friends, I can't wait for you to read my book. I'm so glad you've joined me today. 60 Days to Hired again comes out on Monday, the 22nd of June. You can get it on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Google Books, Apple Books. You can also get it in your local bookstore. The Walmart and Target Marketplace are going to have it. So worldwide, if you want to get it as an audiobook, that's coming, but you can get it as an ebook and a regular hard book coming up on Monday. Thanks a lot for joining me. Please remember to share the link to the 60 Days to Hired community so that we can help our friends, our neighbors, maybe people we've worked with find the career that we're meant for. And next week, we're going to talk about anxiety. You know what happens on Sunday afternoons? You're nervous and anxious about going back to work. And I'm going to walk you through some exercises and some processes to help you mow right through that so that when you walk into the room on Monday, you feel like the most powerful person in the room because you are. Thanks a lot for joining me. I'll talk to you next time. I'll see you soon. Bye now.